Fair thing that happened to you, but you got over it? My coworker claimed my work. I used to believe that if you worked hard, kept your head down, and treated people fairly, life would eventually balance itself out. That belief carried me through my early 20s. I wasn't rich, I didn't have powerful relatives, and education was decent at best. But I had drive, and I had an unshakable belief in fairness. That belief was shattered one afternoon when my boss, let's call him Mr. Gray, called me into his office. Alex, he said, gesturing for me to sit, we've been reviewing performance metrics, and unfortunately, your numbers don't justify keeping you on. I blinked. What do you mean? I led the last 3 projects to completion. Client feedback's been excellent. He didn't meet my eyes. He flipped through a folder on his desk like he was looking for something meaningful. Yes, but the higher ups want a different direction. We're restructuring. I'm sorry. I wasn't sorry. I was furious because I knew exactly what had happened. A week earlier, I'd confronted Ethan, a coworker who constantly borrowed my ideas. I'd caught him red-handed in a meeting presenting a design plan I'd drafted in my notebook. I called him out politely but firmly. He laughed it off. We're a team, right? Ideas belong to everyone. That night, I overheard him in the break room joking with Mr. Gray about how Alex is too sensitive and maybe not cut out for this kind of environment. Now I was fired. Coincidentally, my position was later filled by Ethan. The unfairness burned, but I couldn't fight it. No money for lawyers, no leverage, no allies in the company. HR existed to protect management. I packed my things, walked out, and felt the cold bite of reality. The world wasn't fair. For months, I spiraled. I took odd jobs, bartending, delivery driving, a call center, anything to make ends meet. Every time I imagined Ethan sitting in my chair, probably bragging about my ideas, I clenched my fists until my nails cut skin. But bitterness either eats you alive or becomes fuel. I chose the latter. I rebuilt myself slowly. I started freelancing with small projects, then bigger ones. I networked carefully, proving myself directly to clients instead of through middle managers who could steal credit. Freelancing suited me. My clients liked that I was reliable and original. I never recycled work, never cut corners, and always delivered early. Word spread. Within 2 years, I had a modest but stable business. I wasn't rich, but I was free. Then fate, funny, cruel fate, brought Ethan back into my life. At a networking conference, I was at the refreshments table when I heard a familiar voice. Alex, wow. I didn't expect to see you here. There he was, Ethan, expensive suit, slicked back hair, owning the room. Ethan, long time, I said. So what are you doing these days? He asked, sizing me up. I run my own business now, I said, keeping it simple. He grinned that arrogant grin. Good for you. Me? Managing director. Big responsibilities. Stressful, but hey, someone has to lead, right? I wanted to punch him. Instead, I raised my glass and said, congratulations. That night, I couldn't sleep. His smugness replayed in my head. But I wasn't the same Alex he'd crushed years ago. I had power of my own. I decided he would pay. Revenge isn't rage, it's patience. Ethan had resources, connections, a company protecting him. But he also had arrogance. He believed he was untouchable, and that made him sloppy. So I dug. I started attending industry events where his company showed up. I mingled with his team, asked polite questions, and learned a lot. Ethan hadn't changed. He was still stealing ideas, this time from independent firms. He'd invite freelancers to pitch under the guise of contracts, then cut them out and present the work as his own. Worse, he was good at hiding it. On the surface, he was the golden boy, successful, charming, confident. I knew the truth, and I knew how to expose it. I spent the next year preparing. Revenge rushed is revenge failed. Here's what I did. 1. Documentation. I gathered evidence. I contacted freelancers Ethan had burned, compared notes, and built a case file. 2. Connections. I grew my network. Clients, journalists, influencers, industry watchdogs. I didn't reveal my intent, I just made myself known as reliable. 3. Infiltration. Using a dummy company, I pitched an idea to Ethan's firm. They loved it, then cut off communication. Months later, I saw my exact proposal in Ethan's presentation style. I had firsthand proof. When my plan was complete, I had enough to obliterate his reputation. 2 days before the biggest industry expo of the year, where Ethan was set to give the keynote, I leaked the documentation to 3 places. An investigative journalist who hated corporate exploitation, an online forum where freelancers warned each other about bad clients, and a major client of Ethan's who was also mine. The storm was glorious. On the morning of his keynote, the journalist's article went live. Director exposed for systematic theft of independent work. It laid everything out: dates, examples, testimony. My dummy company was the smoking gun. The forum exploded with freelancers sharing their stories. Ethan went from respected leader to parasite. Then the client backlash hit. A major client pulled out of a multi-million-dollar deal citing ethical concerns. Others followed. By the time Ethan took the stage, the audience buzzed with whispers. Halfway through, someone shouted, "Thief!" The crowd erupted. Screenshots comparing his slides to my dummy proposal were already circulating online. He tried to defend himself, but the damage was irreversible. Cameras caught the jeers, the walkouts, the humiliation. Ethan was suspended pending investigation. Within months, he was quietly removed from the company. His polished reputation lay in ruins. Nobody wanted to hire a known thief. I, on the other hand, saw a boom in my business. Freelancers trusted me because I'd fought for them. Clients came to me because I represented integrity in an industry desperate for it. Months later, I got an email from Ethan. Subject: why? You won. I lost everything. I just want to know why you did it. I stared at the screen, then typed one sentence back: because fairness matters. I never heard from him again. Looking back, I don't regret what I did. Some would call it petty and say I should have moved on. But moving on doesn't mean letting injustice slide. It means making peace, and sometimes peace only comes when balance is restored. The most unfair thing that happened to me was being fired for something I didn't do, while the thief who wronged me was rewarded. I got over it, not by forgetting, but by ensuring he never got to do it again. And in the end, that's what made it satisfying. Like and subscribe, share if this happened to you or someone you know.